Roving through the suburbs, you leave the house looking disheveled and unkept. Before you know it, you go from someone unable to afford the luxury of decent clothing to someone capable of murder. At least 186 people on death row have been wrongfully convicted. Hello, dear esteemed pioneers of this very generation. Can we, as the innovators of our youth, sleep soundly, tolerating the ongoing injustices of our greatly flawed judicial system that consistently sends the innocent and underprivileged families to the death penalty? Having an 100% accuracy rate can never be attainable. Biased judgment relating to racial bigotry and socioeconomic status hold too much weight when it comes to wrongfully prosecuting the innocent. Furthermore, it's an intolerable denial of civil liberties, and it's inconsistent with the fundamental values of our democratic system. And lastly, it is counterproductive towards the advancement of public safety within our communities. Firstly, it is necessary to address the blatant prejudice in our application of the death penalty. To give you all a visual representation of the following statistic, I'll ask everyone from this side of the auditorium and on forth to stand up. Now let's say all of you here represented black victims, and all of you here represented white victims. Everyone currently standing up right now is 80% more likely to receive execution simply because their cases involve white victims. Thank you. Allow me to reiterate. Since modern era, when executions have been carried out exclusively for murder, 80% of those cases involve white victims, even though black and whites are equally likely to be victims of murder. Common characteristics of death row defendants are poverty, lack of firm social roots within the community, and inadequate representation on trial or on appeal. As previously stated, being guaranteed a flawless legal system can never be assured. The color of a defendant and a victim's skin plays an unacceptably critical role when deciding who receives the death penalty in America. Secondly, it's an intolerable denial of civil liberties, and it's inconsistent with the fundamental values of our democratic system. An exemplary case demonstrating the barefaced contravention in criminal law is the disregarding of the Eighth Amendment when invoking the right of execution. Excessive fines shall not be imposed, nor cruel and unusual punishments inflicted. Ironically, as it's declared in the United States Constitution, callous retribution isn't authorized, though we decide to use it as a policy of justice. Allow me to mention a couple of botched execution cases that violate our own Constitution. Gordon Northcott, he died of hanging. The rope was too slack to break his neck, so it took him 13 minutes to die of strangulation. Romel Broom, lethal injection. He cried in pain after receiving 18 needle sticks during a 2009 botched execution that was later on called off after 2 full hours. Lastly, the primal motive of capital punishment is to lessen harsh crimes, and I'm sure most of you would consider it to be an effective method to impose fear through consequence. However, what if I told you that statistics show that it leads to the brutalization of a society and, in fact, an increase in murder rates? To conclude, the death penalty does more harm than good because of the possibility of wrongful conviction through a flawed system that works against its minorities, how it clashes with the essential values of our sacred democratic system, and how little it reforms criminal behavior. Barbarous retribution can never lead us towards peace as a collective, which is why you all should stand with me in the fight for the abolishment of capital punishment.